Hi, welcome back to Travels with Bert. This morning we're not where we expected to be. We're in Chon Buri Province, which is just north of our last province, which was Rayong, if you remember. And this temple, Wat Nong Yai, is just north of Pattaya City. And I must apologise for all the junk in the back of Bert, but when I'm in travel mode, pretty much everything I own in the whole world goes inside Bert somewhere. So anyway, so as I say, I hadn't really expected to be here, but it looks like I'm going to spend a couple of days here waiting for something. And so today we're going to take a look at some temples in and around Pattaya City. And at this point I don't know how many, I think at least 2, but perhaps 3, we'll just have to wait and see. Now this place you can see behind me, I'm afraid there's very little information online and there's absolutely no information here. So we're just going to have to wander around and take a look. And maybe later we'll have a look from upstairs. The gate is closed, but it's not locked, so I think we can sneak in here. The doors look rather interesting. Let's wander up there and take a look. Yep, interesting but locked. Back there, I think we can see a big Buddha statue. I think we better go take a look at that. Okay, nice of you, but we can get closer. Well, I think that's probably as close as we need to get. But around here we have the inevitable Guan Yin statue, goddess of mercy, with her 2 attendants. So I guess there's a certain Chinese influence here too. Good, let's head back. So that's Wat Nong Yai done and dusted. Let's hustle over to Wat Huai Yai. Right now we're to the south of Pattaya City. And actually there's so many buildings here, I'm not sure we're going to visit all of them. I'm not even sure I know where they all are. Anyway, let's go have a look. Now I'd like to show you some aerial footage from here, but it's suddenly gotten insanely windy. So I don't think we'll be doing that today. I know a while ago I complained that temples always had signs saying please take off your shoes, and they never had signs saying please put on your shoes, but surprise surprise, please put on shoes. Now, I think I was supposed to take off my shoes when I came in here, but I'm not going to because these grey tiles are insanely hot. Aside from which they're covered in pigeon poo, and so I'll end up carrying the pigeon poo inside the building. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Do they have Buddha statues, or do they have Buddha statues? If you can see, they're set into the top of the wall here. There's so many, it looks like there must be one for every day of the year. They go all the way around the building. So a lot of temples, there's a Buddha statue for one for every day of the week, which means there's 8 of them. And you're going, what? What's he talking about? Well, for some reason that I can't remember, there's 2 for Wednesday, so there's 8 statues for every day of the week. And I just realized that this building is the Ubosot, because the Baisima that we saw at the last place, they're hiding inside these little temples here. And that's pretty ornate, quite spectacular. That's the actual boundary stone, and it's sitting inside its own little temple. So I think we should call it Minnie Wat. Right, where should we go now? Oh, the red building, I guess. And somewhat strangely, this building also has its own boundary stone, so I'm guessing there must be 2 Ubosots, 2 temples on the same site. I wonder how we get in this one. Let's wander around this way. It looks like we can start by going underneath. Now this is interesting. It looks like they're going to build another temple somewhere, because these large stone bowls, I seem to remember we saw these somewhere else a long time ago, but they're actually called lukdimit, and they get covered in gold leaf, as you can see, and eventually they get buried after they've had a lot of prayers said for them, and they get buried underneath those boundary stones that we saw just a few seconds ago. And there's 9 of them, and you're going to say, oh yes Paul, but there's only 8 boundary stones. And you'd be quite right, because the 9th one gets buried underneath the main altar. Not sure why this guy has roses. He looks like King Taksin. Yeah, that guy again. Right, let's see if we can get into the top floor. Yep, looks like we can go in this one. Interesting floor. I think that would look nice in the kitchen. Just from the style of it, I think this building is probably quite old. And certainly this stone Buddha statue here looks very old. Can I get him? Yeah, there he is. And if you look at the ceiling, it's relatively primitive, which makes me think it's quite old. Actually, the ceiling looks new, but the style is old. Now, I think there's one more main building we're supposed to go to. Ah, yes, that one. Oh, there's an attractive looking gold chedi on top. Let's go and have a look inside. Aha, this is obviously what we call the mystery room with the golden pillar. As far as I can see, there's nothing else in here except for the mystery golden pillar. And it's a very ornate building, just has a golden pillar. And how you get up to the Chedi, I have no idea. There don't seem to be any steps anywhere. Oh well, we've seen the Golden Pillar. And it's a good job we visited the Mystery Pillar when we did, because the lady has just come and locked the gate. At least she didn't lock us in there. So I think we'll just go off and try to find one more temple and hope we don't get rained on. So now it's time for, I'm going to call it Wat Yan. I'll put the full name on screen because I'm sure if I try to pronounce that I'll screw it up totally. And we're quite a long way south of Pattaya City now, maybe about 30 kilometers. And there's so many buildings in this area that I'm not even sure how many there are or how many we're going to see. But we'll just take a look around and we'll find the 2 or 3 main ones. It's getting quite late in the day anyway, so I think we'll enjoy it. This seems to be a replica of the temple in India where the Buddha achieved enlightenment. I think it's in Gujarat state. And I'm not sure, but it looks like there's 2 of them. Or maybe they're just smaller ones at the corners. I think we'd better go take a look. The one in India, if I remember correctly, is the Mahabodhi temple. And if I don't remember correctly, I'm sure someone will leave me a comment to tell me where I went wrong. Wow, it's kind of dark in there. I think you can probably see better than I can. Well, I have to say I can't quite see the point of this. And I can't think why the floor keeps going up and down either. Maybe there's supposed to be waves. Very bizarre. I don't know if you can hear the wind blowing on the camera, but it's certainly not drone weather, which is kind of a shame. And so we have another giant Chedi. Let's get a bit closer. I wonder what's inside this one. We're about to find out. Well, the answer to that is not a lot. Although we're supposed to go upstairs, I think. Was it worth it? Well, there's a lot of gold and an ornate ceiling. Oh, and we're not allowed to take photos. Oh well, I'm taking a video. And then just at the end of a large lake, a couple of kilometers from where we last were, but still in the same temple complex, we have something called the Swiss Mountain Chapel. And just why there would be a Swiss Mountain Chapel, which seems to be completely closed and useless, well, we really have no idea. Let's have a look down the lake. So over there, I think you can just see where we came from. And there's something else just around the corner here I have to show you. So right next to the Swiss Mountain Chapel, we have Chinese pavilions. Well, we would, wouldn't we? Makes perfect sense. And I'm not going to show you the inside because, sorry to say, it looks like the place hasn't been cleaned in the last 5 years. Which is a shame because it'd be a nice place for people to come for a picnic on a weekend. Anyways, that's enough of the lake. So there you have it, some temples around Pattaya. Not exactly what Pattaya is known for, but I think they're quite spectacular temples I've enjoyed today. Tomorrow we're going to head further north and around the dreaded Bangkok traffic to see what else we can find. So for now it's goodbye from Bert and it's goodbye from me. Goodbye!